There is no sugarcoating it. Republicans were absolutely demolished in 2025. And in nearly every single election, both special and general, they underperformed Donald Trump's margin. This is the Down Ballot's special election tracker spreadsheet here. And we can see that in the 2025 election cycle, there have been 25 Democratic flips. This is with every election so far. There's an Iowa Senate district, but that's going to go to the Democrats. So Democrats flipped 25 special legislative seats. Republicans flipped 0. In 2017, Republicans flipped 4 and Democrats flipped 33. So there were more special elections that happened in 2017, but Republicans at least flipped 4. This year, that did not happen. Republicans did not flip a single seat. They have lost seats pretty much everywhere. In Iowa, in the state Senate, Republicans even lost their supermajority because of 3 or 4 Democratic flips that had happened due to special elections. And if we want to continue comparing Donald Trump's first year to his second first year, the average overperformance in 2017 in special elections compared to Donald Trump's margin for Democrats was 11.2. This year, it is 13.7. So Democrats are doing even better in special elections this year than they were in Trump's first term, when they flipped 41 seats in the House of Representatives with a popular vote victory of around 8 points. Now, not to say that 2026 is going to be exactly like 2018. There are a lot of data points pointing to the fact that it could be a lot worse for Republicans. Just looking at some of these shifts here, I mean, we got 42, 22, 33, 56. These are not the kinds of things you want to be happening as a Republican Party when you literally can't even win in a special election because of a vacancy that you won by 20 points only 10 months prior. Also, not to mention just how well Democrats did in the 2025 elections. The New Jersey governorship, people were saying it was close. Emerson College said it was within a single point. Mikey Sherrill wins by 14 points. Virginia, we knew that Democrats were going to be able to win here. Harris won it by 6. Abigail Spanberger wins by 15. The House of Delegates in Virginia, Democrats flipped a huge number of seats here. The point is that Democrats have absolutely decimated Republicans this year and are certainly the political winners of it. Donald Trump, the incumbent Republican president, is more unpopular than ever. He started the year with a 50.7% approval rating and is now at 40.1% and has had specific data points putting him below 30 consistently. That is not the place you want to be in, and it's even worse than where Joe Biden was in 2022. We have also seen huge shifts in the generic ballot. At the start of the year, Republicans led the generic ballot by 4, even 5 points. Now, Democrats lead by 4, and with some data points saying 7, 8, 9 points ahead of Republicans. Just from these early data points, Democrats already have a 73% chance to flip the House of Representatives. And you know it's really bad for Republicans when the Senate is also in play at 53 seats. So we are going to be going through this and talking about, can Democrats really win the Senate in 2026? This is where the 2026 Senate currently stands, or where the Senate currently stands, with Republicans at 53 seats to Democrats 47. That is a very tough position for Democrats, especially since they have to flip 4, because even if they get a tie, J.D. Vance, the Republican vice president, would still be there to break that tie. So this is what my model says the most likely Senate outcome will be. Now, this is a 95% confidence interval, but this is by margin, not percent chance of winning. So what do we see here? We see that if Democrats want to win, their most likely path is through holding Michigan, holding Georgia, holding New Hampshire, flipping North Carolina with Roy Cooper, flipping Maine with Graham Plattner, I think he's a stronger candidate, and flipping Ohio with Sherrod Brown. From there, all right, let's say they do flip Ohio. Where do you go? Because you're still at 50 seats. J.D. Vance is going to break that tie. Right now, the most likely option for them is Texas with James Tellerico, the stronger candidate, who I ran a few raw number calculations based on all of the elections that James Tellerico has had and that Jasmine Crockett has had, and concluded that James Tellerico is more electable by 2.48 points. Just in 2022 alone, James Tellerico overperformed Joe Biden by 14 points. That's the same Joe Biden year where he only lost Texas by 5.6. But that same year, Jasmine Crockett only performed Joe Biden by only 3.4. Sidetrack aside, I think James Tellerico is the kind of Democrat that you need to flip Texas. Alaska could be in play if Mary Peltola runs for Senate. She has been a little bit under the radar. She was the former Democratic House representative from Alaska before losing her seat in 2024. So far, she has been a candidate for the House of Representatives. This model is based on if Mary Peltola were to run, and the polling that we have there shows an extremely competitive race for that. But right now, she is a certified candidate for the House of Representatives, and she is yet to make any other announcement, but she will before the filing deadline. And this is the Senate map based on each party's chance to win in every state. Safe states are states where either party has more than a 95% chance, likely states is more than 80% chance, lean states is more than 66% chance, and tilt states are less than 66% chance for either party. And it is largely the same story here as well. For the governors, it is a slightly different story, and I'm just going to point out and explain a few odd things you might find on this map compared to Senate and presidential maps. Most notably, Vermont. Republican incumbent Phil Scott is the most popular governor in America and continues to overperform the presidential margin by 50 and 60 points, so he has a greater than 95% chance of winning. New Hampshire, while still competitive, is a Democratic state, but Kelly Ayotte does have more than a 66% chance after she overperformed in 2024. Iowa is only tilt red because Rob Sand, the incumbent Democratic state auditor, is running for governor. He's a very strong Democratic candidate. He was elected in 2020 as a Democrat and won statewide by about 0.24%, so that is going to tighten up the race quite significantly. Kansas is likely Republican only because we don't know much. Laura Kelly is the incumbent Democratic governor. She was very popular, overperformed a lot, won her re-election by around 3 points, but we can imagine that to get closer to a 95% chance or greater margin. Now, even bigger, California is tilt Democrat. Why? Well, the way California runs their election is that it's a top-2 runoff system with multiple people from multiple parties. So it's an open primary. So right now there are like 7 Democrats and only 2 major Republicans. So the scenario here is that if those 2 Republicans end up getting the 2 top spots, it will be a runoff election between 2 Republicans, and California could potentially end up with a Republican governor that only got around 13% of the vote in the first round. Alaska, again, if Mary Peltola chooses to run for governor, I think that's lean, likely, maybe even safe Democratic for her. What you will find with governor's elections is that people are more comfortable voting across the ticket, across their party, if they know it's to govern their state rather than the country. I will also be running special election predictions. The final one of 2025 will happen on December 30th for Iowa's 16th State Senate District. This district went to Kamala Harris by 17.2, and according to a few calculations, I expect it to go Democrat by 31.27, so we will see what happens on Tuesday. If Democrats overperform by a lot more than that, there will probably be video. But for now, thank you for watching. If you want more updates, please consider subscribing. Goodbye.